So we didn't do a segment yesterday on the Transformer Slag podcast for Transformer Tuesday. We were recording a brand new big segment for the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll get that out in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for a really good one. But let's jump into the Transformer news. Quite a bit to cover now on this Wednesday. This is a Wednesday. First thing we're going to cover is the two pre-orders that came out on Transformer Tuesday. One of them we speculated could have been a Transformer product, but it wasn't the case. There was a item that we're dying to show you, the returning favorites. It was a Deadpool product, two Deadpool items. One was a reissue, one was a brand new one. So those are up on Hasbro Pulse. The other one, as expected, was the Masterpiece MPG 08 Yamabuki. Hey, you're going to be able to get that Dr. Yellow. It's going to be $160 flat. We'll be shipping out December 24th. Along with that of the Geno, you could get both of them, and potentially in some situations, depending, you could get free shipping. So good opportunity to get those two and get your Diaclone Shiden combiner action going on. So check that out on Hasbro Pulse. We also got a great update for Free Comic Book Day. I love Free Comic Book Day, best day of the year to really kind of get people into comic book stores and get a pull bin and start getting into reading comic books and supporting your local comic book shop. And Free Comic Book Day, that's going to be happening May 4th, 2024, the first Saturday of May. We got our announcement and our first look at Skybound Entertainment and their Free Comic Book Day Transformer book. The Energon Universe 2024 Special Number 1 will be debuting at Free Comic Book Day. The Free Comic Book Day version will actually be coming out a couple days before its retail release. So if you go on Free Comic Book Day to your local comic book shop, you can check out freecomicbookday.com, and they'll have a store locator so you can find out who's participating in your area. Go pick up your free Transformers comic book and, buy a few things from the store too. Help support them and keep the comic book local shop community alive. This is going to be one of 6 different covers. Man, Skybound, you are killing it. So this is going to have 6 different covers, and the Free Comic Book Day version is going to be one of those. The other 5 are going to be retail ones, which will be available later on that week. So, last thing we're going to cover is a little bit of news on the behind the scenes. The first part of it is comicbook.com and their interview with both Lorenzo Bonaventura and the Rise of the Beast director Stephen Caple Jr. and their talks about the Transformers G.I. Joe movie crossover and what potentially will be happening with that. Lorenzo said, to be honest, I don't know. All I know is we got a promise we have to deliver on. And Stephen Caple Jr. pretty much had this big, long-winded answer that said, the technology is there. We could have G.I. Joe involved. Maybe not use the same classic characters like Snake Eyes and Duke, but maybe some of the more other lesser-known characters. There's other divisions in G.I. Joe like the Renegades. We could focus on them. Pretty much, pitching the idea and doing some kind of away from Earth story that still involves humans heavily. You know what? I mean, look, I like Stephen Caple Jr. I like the Creed movies and everything like that. But, let's be reminded here, Transformers Rise of the Beast, as much as I enjoyed the movie, it didn't do as well as we had hoped. It barely broke even, and in some sectors could even be considered a loss of money. And sadly, to this day, of the live-action movies we have of Transformers, it's actually the lowest box office numbers of the entire live-action series, and that includes Bumblebee, which was a low-budget affair. So that's pretty rough when you really think about it. So I don't know. To do this Joe movie, I think I really feel that Transformers 1 might be a better reflection of what potentially we could see. Hey, if Transformers 1 doesn't do well, then we're all in trouble. But we got to figure out what's going on with that. And speaking of trouble, and this is the second part of it, CNBC reported, along with Hasbro, finally putting out their Q4 report. And Hasbro reports a 20% revenue drop, which is about $1.06 billion. Now, I went through the 40-page PDF, a slew of numbers and graphs and everything, looking for little stuff in relation to our brand. And here's what I could take away from it so you don't have to go through the whole 40-page thing yourself. In relation to Transformers, here's what's going on. Transformers actually did good. Of all the bad stuff that has been happening at Hasbro the past while, Transformers actually has been a good part of it. Now, granted, if you segment what in Transformers was doing well, it was Legacy and Studio Series that did very good. Rise of the Beasts mainline and Earthspark did very bad. But the numbers for Legacy and Studio Series were so strong that it was able to pick up the weight that the other two were not able to carry. So that's the first thing we have to take away from that. In fact, a lot of the money lost by Hasbro in its toy areas have nothing to do with Transformers, and it's a lot to do with a lot of the other brands that have just been struggling, and just a lot of really bad ideas. Just a lot of, promises to Disney that just, hey, we're going to make these lines, and it's just landfill filling product at the end of the day. And, that leads to a $1.06 billion in losses. When you get into their entertainment sector, unfortunately, it's kind of the same thing, and that adds to the $1.6 billion of losses, where in the Transformer related stuff, we have some stuff that's dealing with low ratings and a lack of interest. And Transformers Earthspark did very poorly, very, very poorly. And when it doesn't have ratings, companies aren't exactly asking to get their hands on it, advertising, streaming services, and all of that. And while it's slated for season 2, and this was pretty much planned even before there was any indication of its success, no doubt if this season 2 does finish its course, it will be its last season. And if that's the case, if Transformers Earthspark does not get to a season 3, it will be the first Transformers TV show in the modern Western era of Transformers shows to not make it to a 3rd season. Keep in mind that after the 2007 movie boom, Transformers shifted its television development into Western media and the Western style of seasons, as opposed to standalone shows that potentially could be connected, like, let's say, the Unicron trilogy. And every single one of them had 3 seasons or more. Transformers Animated 3 seasons, Prime 3 seasons, Robots in Disguise 2015 3 seasons, Cyberverse technically 4. With those 2 movies, Rescue Bots across both versions 6 seasons. And then you have Earthspark that might not make it to 3. It's probably not. It's not looking good, and it makes you want to kind of take a step back and look at them, make Hasbro look at themselves and kind of restructure everything and what's going on here. Transformers is lucky as a brand that it's kind of bulletproof in the sense at the end of the day, because Takara Tomy in Japan on the other side of the globe are kind of this guiding hand that even if things go from bad to worse, they could still keep the brand going in other ways. It could be like, just a manga exclusive line with some mild toy support, or it could be, a show that's made in the Japanese market. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would be more than happy to do an anime or something exclusively for their market, and we would just consume it like we do anime. We'd import it and we'd do stuff like that. So we live in a world today where that doesn't stop any other anime fan from getting their product and their fiction. So it's a very confusing time. Hasbro's not doing very well. I'm obviously glossing over all the other segmentations of Hasbro, like Wizards of the Coast and the problems that they have. I mean, I can't even get into the fact that, their Magic the Gathering set of Lord of the Rings was the greatest selling Magic the Gathering set of all time, and they posted losses. So think about that. Think about how bad things are right now for them. So there's got to be a lot of restructuring, a lot of people. And when I say firing, I don't mean innocent people who are like really designer stuff. I mean, like, there's some big money bag people at the top of the food chain that really don't need to be there. And there's some fresh blood and fresh minds that need to be put into those positions. And you pay them a little less because they're young, they're inexperienced, but they also might be someone who probably has a better take than some of the stuff that's going on right now, and it's really not working out. So let me know what you think. It's pretty rough right now. Let's just put it this way: if you're into Transformers Earthspark, there's going to be a lot of sales coming in the near future. Go check your ollies. I know already, like I said, I've been picking up some stuff on the ridiculously cheap because of it. But let me know what you think, guys, and we'll talk again very soon here on the Transformers Slag podcast. And thank you for listening.